Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my patch note reading for Heavensward. I'm actually doing this live on Twitch, and I'm posting it up on YouTube, but don't worry, I'm just going to be trying to focus strictly on the patch notes. We finally have the preliminary patch notes for patch 3.0. Now, I've already glanced through a lot of them. There's a lot of pictures here, there's a lot of text, and there's some explaining we have to do before we can even really go over the patch notes in their entirety. So, I know this is a big moment for everyone. Expect to be here for a while. I'm actually doing this just 30 minutes before Yoshi P does a live one in Japanese, so whatever. It even says that patch notes will be only available in Japanese and English. Complete patch notes are scheduled to be released in all languages Friday, June 19th, 2015. So, anything that's not in here, it'll be there in a few days. So, playable content, battle systems, items, and systems. Now, I actually like that they're doing this. So, they want to distinguish changes that will only affect you if you have Heavensward versus changes that will affect you regardless of whether or not you own the expansion. And I think that's a pretty good thing. They also have if it'll affect if it'll be elements that affects both A Realm Reborn and Heavensward. So, as you can see here, these additions and adjustments require the purchase of the expansion. These additions and adjustments do not require, and these may require, I guess, depending on the context that you actually perform them in. So, real quick, right off the bat, they let you know players must progress through the main story introduced in patch 3.0 to access new areas. Not even 2.55. You're going to have to follow the main story at first in order to get into some of these new areas in the first place. Players who log out in these new areas cannot log back in using a platform that has not registered Heavensward. I've been going over that for a while now, so if you didn't know already, that's the whole if you want to own the system on multiple platforms thing and all that mumbo jumbo. Real quickly, some pictures for the new areas. The city of Ishgard, the foundation of Ishgard. At this point, we've seen video of most of these areas, so I'm not going to stop and nitpick on all the little details. I like the way the sun shines right here. We have the Cortus Western Highlands, although this is, I think, the first time I'm seeing it in such a bright viewpoint. We have the Dravanian Forelands. We have the giant volcano or mountain in the back with the floating rock at the top. We have some of the destroyed civilizations that were here before. We have the Churning Mists, which a lot of floating islands here. We have some ancient architecture, which some people have been assuming might be Charlayan, but we'll have to see. Some people think the city from the main story is actually going to be up here at some point. That would be interesting. The Lost Baldessian, the students of Baldessian, their city and all that stuff, or their town. So, Sea of Clouds we have right here. Now, we know there's going to be two Sea of Clouds. There's going to be the lower Sea of Clouds and the upper Sea of Clouds, depending on the level that you're going into. So let's just scroll down. The Dravanian Hinterlands, this is where Alexander is actually going to be. So if you were wondering where it is, it's going to be somewhere in the Dravanian Hinterlands. You can kind of tell just from the way that it looks and whatnot. And then we have question mark, question mark, question mark, and question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm assuming this is the floating continent. I'm assuming this is the upper Sea of Clouds. No confirmation of that, obviously, but we know the names of the 9 areas, and considering those 2 aren't here, I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's what those 2 are. New city and field aetherites, something we expected. There's going to be a lot of stuff here that seems kind of bland because it's stuff we already knew about so far in advance. What we're really looking for is the juicy new details. So, quests. Patch 3.0 introduces a myriad quests in addition to the main story. As such, there may be cases where the patch notes only cite the initial quest in a series. I like that because it makes the patch notes quicker to read. Or omit quests entirely to prevent spoilers. We encourage players to explore the ever-growing realm of Eorzea and discover what new stories and adventures await. New main scenario quests. There's just no names. Players must first complete the main scenario quest before the dawn. They've said in interviews that this quest coming to Ishgard is going to be in Camp Dragonhead, so assuming they haven't changed their mind about that, that's where most everyone's going to be logging off. Don't log off there. I don't want a 90k. Please. You're going to log out there anyway? Okay, you're forgiven. Level 15 mains. Okay, so these are some changes to the level 15 main scenario quests. Now, this is weird. It says that this requires the expansion to be bought to get this first one. Level 15 main scenario quests introduced prior to patch 3.0 will now grant experience points upon completion. That will only be available to those who own the expansion because that's the only way you're going to even be able to get experience points after level 50. This was something they said they weren't sure if they were going to do. They said they were adding gear rewards to the patch 2.1 to 2.55 main story, which is what this encompasses. But if you do level after the expansion comes out while you're doing the main story trying to unlock Ishgard, just know you will still be leveling up through these quests. So that was a big concern a lot of people had, was that it would stunt their progression entirely. That is not going to be entirely an issue. The number of experience points granted from 1 to 49 has also gone up. We've gone over that before. And certain item and guild rewards have been implemented for job quests and main scenario quests to help speed up the gearing process, another thing we've covered quite often. New Chronicles of a New Era quest, new side story quests. Again, not a lot of details here to prevent spoilers. We have new side quests that are available entirely. This looks like the Vanu, so probably Beast Tribe quest. This shows... These are probably hunters for chocobos in that area, I'd imagine. That looks like the Dravanian Forelands, where we know chocobo hunting sort of is a thing. Now, this is interesting. The roulette required to complete the quest Morbid Motivation has been changed from Duty Roulette Expert to Duty Roulette High Level. Morbid Motivation, that is the Relic quest. That's for the daily map, right? Well, now I have to do the High Level Roulette, and we'll be getting into why they made that change in a little bit. New job quests have been added, and here are the starting locations for every single new job quest, and you just need to do them at level 50. So if you don't want to log off and court this, and I honestly recommend you go and, if you're not just immediately jumping into the new jobs, that you actually consider this. Oh, you need to complete the, oh yeah, the level 50 quest. Okay. So basically, it's continuing right where we left off. Genlin's, Curious Gorge, Eric, Alberic, all these, all the job NPCs you dealt with before, you're pretty much just going to be going back to them. So I would recommend doing this before the main story, because you'll probably want to do it, get this first quest out of the way. But we'll go into, I guess, the job abilities a little bit later, so you can see how important it is to have this quest done right away versus how important it is to just do it when you get to, I guess, level 52 or somewhat. New class quests have also been incorporated, but these are for crafters, not to be confused with like pugilists and whatnot. So you have Carpenter, Blacksmith, Armor, again, all starting in these areas, so find whichever one is relevant to you and figure out where you're going to be going. So all of those, you're going to have to deal with it. Beast Tribe quest getting some changes. The allowances are going up from 6 to 12, and the rewards are being changed. Soldiery, anything that basically gave soldiery before is now going to instead be giving poetics, and anything that gave poetics before will be giving more poetics. So yes, poetics are going to be sticking around, but it seems like soldiery are pretty much going to be going away. And they will be, because I've read the patch notes ahead of time. I already know. But yeah, for Beast Tribes, if you want to get those done, you can do them a bit more. You can do more of them per day, which is definitely going to be helpful. Players can now undertake temple leaves. This is a new type of guild leave. And what's interesting about these is that they're larger scale leave quests that require 10 allowances to undertake. And they are much more difficult, but they grant experience rewards and items, or greater experience points and rewards. So also, instead of being teleported back to the leave mate, players will be teleported to a nearby hamlet. So I guess that's to force you to fly back to maybe explore the areas a little bit more, to experience the world a little bit more, whatever. And also, it seems like this was interesting. The difficulty of temple leaves can only be increased to +1. In the event your character is 2 or more levels higher, you will suffer a penalty to rewards. So instead of having new leave quests every 5 levels, they're shifting it to new leave quests every 2 levels, it seems like, with that. So keep that in mind. You're going to have a new way to just burn through leave quests. I'm curious, because they don't say that this is like a party-related leave quest, just that it's a more difficult leave quest that takes 10 allowances. So I'm curious to see what difficulty it actually has, and is it going to be a meaningful way of gearing up your characters with more guaranteed, I guess, ethereal grade drops. That could even make it useful for people, you know, doing things like leveling desynthesis or trying to farm items to hand into a grand company. It's going to give them a little bit more consistent of a feature of a use, but we have to see the rewards first before you can really be certain of that. That's just me spitballing at this point. So we have what? Players may come across treasure coffers which sometimes contain amber encased vialkin. And you can exchange these items, so you're gonna get these from the Battlecraft Temple Leaves, obviously. And you can go and trade these in for a number of items, although I don't know if it's going to say what those items are anywhere here in the patch notes. Sorry about the cut in the video right there. I had to go blow my nose. It was killing me, and we're like a fourth through reading these patch notes, so I think it was pretty necessary. Alright, so guild leaves have been adjusted as followed. When selecting leave quests, placing the cursor on class icons will now display the class names, just in case you don't know what the icons are. Not gonna complain. I mean, sometimes it's annoying to try and tell the difference, so I guess that'll work, and also improving gamepad functionality for that. New fates, both small and large scale. I guess there's gonna be a fate where we have to dress in sexy leopard shirts. Either that or it's just a fate reward for... That's a fate reward for killing this guy, isn't it? That's a fate reward for killing that. I'm going to assume it's a fate reward for killing that guy. The difficulty of the fate Steel Rain has been adjusted. He's going to be able to go up to level 70 now, isn't he? Interesting. Three types of, okay, now we're getting into treasure hunts. So 3 new types of maps, treasure hunt maps, have been introduced, and the old ones have had the rewards changed again, the whole soldiery moving up to poetics thing. Time-worn maps and leather-buried maps that rewarded elegant homelessness of poetics will just now reward even more poetics. That's pretty much how any of the level 50 content that gave both soldiery and poetics, or one or the other, is pretty much going to be working throughout all of these patch notes. Grand companies have received the following adjustments. Players can now exchange company seals for Dark Knight Machinist and Astrologian arms. Good, because that's going to be good for leveling. Additional items will now be accepted for supply and provisioning. I'm assuming all the, like, item level 110, 120, 130 stuff we already had. Number of company seals received for expert delivery missions has been reduced. Oh. Gear from the following trials and duties will now be accepted. Yeah, there it is. Soldiery, Poetics, Second Coil, Final Coil, World of Darkness, Leviathan, Ramu, Shiva, all that stuff. Total stab has been removed. Alright, I guess I was just, you know, shaving off whatever extra they had. Players can now exchange company credits for items by speaking with the OIC quartermaster at each Grand Company headquarters and the resident caretaker in any housing district. Fantastic. Company workshops have been implemented. We were just talking about this on State of the Realm right before. Workshops can be used to craft company projects such as ethereal wheels, housing materials, and airships for your free company. Airships built by your free company can then be deployed on exploratory voyages. The company workshops. In order to craft company projects, players must first purchase a workshop. Yeah, we got that already. The option to purchase a company workshop is available at the entrance to private chambers. Okay, now know where to buy it. Company crafting. Company projects may require the cooperation of free company members depending on the amount of materials required. The materials required for any given project can be confirmed by opening the company crafting tab via the fabrication station. That is a weird thing to have to say out loud. So it goes into different phases, and you need to collect a certain amount of items in order to actually move it forward. Every time you do a hand-in for a specific item, it moves your experience forward a little bit. I'm assuming this is experience for the actual finishing and not for you as a class, I'm assuming. Need to do 18 hand-ins of 6 items each. This person has 63 in their inventory. And then it also gives you construction. Like, there's a whole huge thing here. So this looks like something someone could solo. It doesn't look like it really needs the full free company, but this is just for one item, so it's definitely going to benefit people that actually work together. I'll build the hull, I'll build this, I'll build that. It'll definitely come in handy to work together with your free company to get this done faster. The schematic board. The schematic board is used to draft new projects. After gathering the required items, select the plan you wish to create. A new plan will then be added to the company crafting log. So it's almost like you're crafting master books for the workshop itself. That's kind of strange. It's not very in-depth, but it's something. You know what I mean? Like, it means that you have to go out of your way to get these items in order to get these plans. What that'll probably mean is you'll probably start with really weak airships, like very bad parts, and you send them off onto voyages, and the parts they come back with you can use to build better airship parts in order to make better airships, to get different rewards, travel to different islands. Then we have company airships here, finally. Register airships using requisite components and flight credits. Exploratory voyages. So you can send it out on a voyage. And we already know that in 3.0, this is pretty much going to be like a retainer feature for your airships. And that in 3.1, that'll be when the content is really there. It gives you like a full flight log on everything. Like, look at this. 12 hours elapsed of Albathia's spine reached. Plotting course to the Sea of Clouds, Sector 1. Sea of Clouds, Sector 1 reached. Commencing survey. Experience violent turbulence. Airship surveillance levels unaffected, but exploratory capability may be significantly hindered. Vitality 2 materia discovered. Commencing extraction. Normal retrieval levels result in average extraction yield 16 materia 2. And he's getting tier 2 materia. I hope I can get tier 4 materia so I don't have to spend money on it. But it's a whole huge thing. And then you can get a rating based on this, and it gives your airship experience points. Like, this is a whole huge thing, isn't it? This is a pretty big thing, I'm assuming. As you continue to deploy airships on voyages, you will eventually discover new areas on the survey. And they each give more experience points, and then it tells you how many cerulean barrels you need, what the flight distance is, how much EXP it rewards. Like, this is a whole huge thing. Look at this. This is a whole huge. I mean, we knew it was going to be a huge thing, but I'm impressed to finally be seeing something about it instead of them just telling me about it in an interview. Voice crack. Airship performance. The combination of parts used to build an airship will determine the distance it can travel as well as the rewards you receive from voyages. And, oh, okay, so this determines the rank of your airship. I'm assuming the rank of your airship increases its different performance, gives it more airframe cape. Oh, okay, yeah, you do need to level the airship itself as well to get the new parts. So even if you have crazy good parts, it seems like you're still gonna have to follow some rules here when it comes to your airship. Rank of your airship. Airships will gain experience points. Higher ranks will allow you to outfit airships with new components, and parameters will be the stats it has: surveillance, retrieval, speed, range, and I almost said favor. Airship components. Then we have the hull, and then of course it lets us know the rank, and then each item of this actually gives your ship a set functionality, as you can see here. And it does look like you do need to actually repair your airship at times. I mean, you could see that right here. It looks like all the parts have lost like 20 to 25% of their durability. But this is, I mean, pretty much confirmation. One set of airship repair materials. So you will need to take care of these airships. They're not just, you can't just send them off all willy-nilly. You got to make sure that they actually, you know, work. Outfitting bonuses, it's rank 1. It's got 3 component spaces. It gives 80 range. No, that's all details that we could talk about for every single item, and we don't really need to. Cerulean tanks. Airships require cerulean tanks to be deployed on exploratory voyages. They can be purchased using company credits from the resident caretaker in any housing district. But your free company must own a house, and before purchasing a workshop or undertaking exploratory voyages. In case you were confused, yes, your free company needs a house to do free company content. That seems pretty self-explanatory, but they just wanted to clarify. New company actions, yay! MGP payout, Fenrir mount. You're looking a lot closer nowadays. I can't wait for somebody's going to put the 15% in there, and then they're going to win the jumbo and just have nothing to do with all those extra points. They'll have some things to do. EXP earned through gathering, EXP earned through crafting, EXP earned by companions, wolf marks earned, company seals earned, straight up increasing your stats like gathering, perception, craftsmanship, control, spear bonding speed, food effects by 15 minutes, yeah, because it was 10 minutes before. Slows gear wear by 30% and reduced. Like, they're all just upgraded versions of the ones we already had, minus Jackpot 1 and 2, which are brand new, and Jackpot 3, of course. They last 24 hours. This is stuff we already know. Grade 3 actions can only be acquired using an ethereal wheel. So when I laughed at the ethereal wheel earlier, the only way to get any of these actions is to actually use it. So, no longer laughable. Damn it. Anyway, the effects of free company actions have been adjusted. Increases the attributes of all Disciples of War and Magic under level 10. It's been buffed to level 25 for Brave New World 1 and level 49 for Brave World 2. Although I did notice that this one went from 15% to 5%. I guess because it lasts that much longer, there had to be a trade-off. This one also went from 15 to 10%. It's just not highlighted as much. So, all right, they're gonna last longer, but not be as effective. Seems like a fair trade-off to me. New furnishings, grade 2 and 3 ethereal wheels have been adjusted. Triple Triad, you can play it in your house using the new furnishing, which is definitely good. Crafting facility furnishes can now be used by crafting classes up to level 50. The order of items that appear in the indoor and outdoor furnishings window has been adjusted as well. All real simple changes. We don't really need to dive into those too much. Manderville Gold Saucer changes. We are not even close to done. This is going to have to be like a 3-part video or something. The display of racing racing times and experience rewarded. You know, great. It's a little bit easier to understand now. The EXP, then the points, then the time. You know, whatever. New triple triad cards. Here's a few of them. We got Horse Font. We got Amaric. We got Estinian, Iceheart, Lucia. You know, that's nothing. You know, we knew that was coming. Whatever. New NPCs to challenge. New players can now engage in triple triad in more areas. Method for calculating tournament points has been adjusted. I guarantee you people who win trade are still going to end up taking it. When selecting a deck, the cursor will now default to the last selected deck. I like that. Players will be temporarily unable to challenge Tataru to triple triad matches after reaching a certain point in the main story. Spoiler. Little bit, but okay, whatever. If you don't have your lightning card yet and you get to a certain point, you temporarily won't be able to talk to her. Just temporarily, guys. Don't panic. Players can now purchase up to 3 mini Cacpot tickets per day. 100, 200... Well, I gotta go for world first 30,000 MGP in a day. Sounds like a plan to me. Alright, well, Fenrir mount just became way more achievable. Even though these cost extra and you probably can still end with a net loss for the day. If you're someone who is patient and calculated, this will probably end up being a pretty good thing. Alra dancers have been added to the gate. Dancers will now appear in several variations. New items have been added to Greg's inventory at the main counter in the gold saucer. I love that his name is Greg. New prizes are available. That's a pretty cool sword. I'm assuming all of that stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. New sightseeing logs. Oh yeah, baby. 42 Heavensward sightseeing logs. I can't wait to not do those for a really long time. I wonder what minion I'm going to get from that this time. New pages for the sightseeing log will be unlocked as you explore in new areas in Heavensward. Unlike previous entries, players will be granted experience points upon discovering these new locations. Are you trying to imply people are going to level with the sightseeing log? Are you stupid? I think they're stupid. Maybe it's used for something else. In order to unlock the new pages, players must complete the quest of Sight to Behold. Of course. Players can now select the Owl Raw race. We already knew that was going to happen. I don't need to talk about that too much. New aesthetician hairstyles. Cool. Skywatcher NPCs have been added to new areas for the weather. Cool. They can now view a weather forecast for the new areas. Again, cool. It's stuff that kind of was expected. Flying mounts have been implemented. We've known about that for a long time. It lets you know how many ether currents you have in each zone. That's probably pretty good. They will be unable to fly until attuning to ether currents in each area. Yeah, we knew that. While many ether currents can be found in the field, others can only be accessed through main scenario and side quests. Wow, we're really going to have to be doing all the quests, aren't we? Players will be given an ether compass to aid in their search. Okay, so this is how you're going to actually unlock flying. You're going to have to go to each of these zones and discover, holy moly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 ether currents. Wow. That's going to be interesting. That's going to mean a lot of running around at first. An icon on the map will display which areas you can actually use flying in. There's that little thing right there. Taking flight, you guys know how to fly, all right? I'm not going to explain all the controls while flying, you know. We don't need to stop and talk about that. Level cap has been raised to 60. Don't need to talk about it. There is no quest, remember. There's no limit break quest. This isn't Final Fantasy XI. Dark Knight Machinist Astrologian jobs have been added. These jobs have no corresponding classes and begin at level 30, just to make sure. Dark Knight, oh, all their abilities. We know all the abilities and levels they will get their abilities. All right. I mean, there's no details on the actual abilities here, but if we've read about them before, we now know when we're going to be getting them at least, so that's cool. Traits: Enhanced Vitality, Enhanced Shadow Skin, Enhanced Vitality 2, Clean Weapon, Enhanced Vitality 3, Hasty Reprisal, Enhanced Scourge, Low Blows, Enhanced Unmend, Enhanced Dark Dance, and Soul Devourer. Even they stop getting traits at level 48, like just like the old jobs do. Dark Knight can be unlocked by completing the following quests. Yeah, we know the pillars. It's in Ishgard. All of the new jobs are going to be unlocked in Ishgard, so be ready for that. Machinist, we have all their abilities here. When did we get their first turret? Did we get their first turret? We get their first turret at level 40. So you won't even have a turret until level 40. That's going to be interesting. Split shot, slug shot, lead shot, spread shot, quick reload. Yeah, all this stuff. We need details on these abilities. Like, quicker reload probably reduces the cooldown, if I had to guess. Enhance, 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 and increased action damage. Really? Why does 2 come before 1? I'm guessing this is 20%, and this is another 10% on top of that. It's just probably a typo. It's probably supposed to be 1 and then 2. Probably nothing too fancy. Another machinist quest. This is in the foundation of the Ishgard. Stella! Sorry, I noticed that I had to say it. Okay, Astrologian, new abilities, and then these are the names of their 6 cards. We already knew that as well. Traits: Enhanced Disable, Enhanced, yeah, like all this stuff is stuff that we kind of, you know, is expected at this point whenever we get traits and jobs and whatnot. It's normal stuff. We don't need to really stop and talk about that either. Pillars, we're not going to stop and watch a job action video. The levels for the new Paladin abilities, Sheltron, really? You have to give them their combos at 54 and 60, so there's still going to be 1, 2, 3 for 4 levels. All right. Warrior, Deliverance, Fell Cleave, Raw Intuition, Equilibrium, and Decimate. That's probably the AoE one. Monk, the Forbidden Chakra. Interesting. This is quite different from the way that we read it, that it was going to be. So we have Form Shift, Meditation, Elixir Field, Purification. Interesting that Forbidden Chakra is just kind of thrown here at the end. Oh, maybe it's because they get them at 60? No, that doesn't make sense. It's probably just because it's unaffiliated to their level. It's probably something they'll unlock very, very early on. Dragoon, Battle Litany, Blood of the Dragon, Fang and Claw, Wheeling Thrust, Jia Skogul, Smokescreen, Armor Crush. I like the name of that. That sounds good. That's for my main. Dream Within a Dream. Couldn't they just call the ability Inception? They might as well have, right? That's what that is. That's Inception. Bard, Wanderer's Minuet right at 52. Those of you who didn't like the ability, that'll be your first new one. Wanderer's Pain, not Pay On like we originally thought. It's a P-A-E-A-N, which is a thing. Sidewinder at 60. Black Mage. So they get a Nokian at 56. Wait. So before we were worried about them getting a Nokian at 60 and then having no abilities from 50, like, I don't know, 54 to 60. Now instead they get a Nokian. Maybe a Nokian does something else other than access to Blizzard 4 and Fire 4. It has to, right? Because otherwise you get a Nokian and it's like, cool. I don't have Blizzard 4, Fire 4 yet. Cool. All right. Fantastic. Great. Alright, so you don't get any useful abilities from 54 to 58. That's totally different. And then Blizzard 4 is the only... Yeah, Enochian has another. It has to. Like, I don't remember if they said it does, but it has to, considering Blizzard 4 extending the duration of Enochian. You know where I'm going with this. Pain Flare at 52, Ruin 3, Tri-Disaster, Dreadworm Trance, and Death Flare. That's weird. They made it seem like Pain Flare and Death Flare were both going to draw from Dreadworm Trance, but it seems like it's only Death Flare that's going to actually benefit from Dreadworm Trance. That's another thing. Like, something's off about this, because... It's weird. This has to have some, like Enochian, this has to have some sort of other effect. It can't just be an enabler. It has to have some sort of innate buff to your other abilities. I will find out what it is soon enough, though. Asylum, Stone 3, SIs, Arrow 3, and Tetragrammaton. We already know about all those. Indomitability, Broil. Oh, I'm hungry now. I could go for London Broil. Anyway, Deployment Tactics, Emergency Tactics, and Dissipation. Great. In accordance with the raise and level cap, the following job actions and parameters have been adjusted, but they're not telling us exactly how. Ooh. Defiance and Wrath. I wonder if that's just the rate at which NBD is generated. Shield Swipe? I wonder what... Oh, well, Defiance and Shield Oath we know is they added accuracy to it. I wonder what they changed about the Wrath stacks, though. And Shield Swipe. And Riot Blade's probably more MP now. I wonder if this has, like, more crit or something. Or maybe... Oh, you know what it is? Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. For Wrath, it's definitely that if you change the Deliverance, it'll just change the stacks over to the Deliverance stacks, to the Abaddon or the Abandoned stacks. Alright, that's fine. Featherfoot, I mean, it's going to be useful now. Demolish, Shoulder Tackle, Heavy Thrust. I mean, this is not that... Oh, Shade Shift and Aeolian Edge. So Aeolian Edge is probably the ability that's getting a positional. Alright, so I thought it was going to be Dancing Edge. Seems it's going to be Aeolian Edge. Interesting, interesting. Reign of Death. Interesting. Armies Payon, Barrage, and... Barrage, this has to have something to do with Wanderer's Minuet. It has to. It has to have some sort of different effect when you're under Wanderer's Minuet. I'm so convinced of that. I want to know what these effects are. Oh, look at that. Flaming Crush is going to get buffed or changed. And in Kindle, maybe its cooldown's going to be reduced. I don't know. It would be really great if they could tell us what these changes are, but I think they want us to enjoy our jobs for the next 2 days before the servers go down. And I think if they told us ahead of time, we'd probably just be like, oh, I can't play it, knowing that's coming soon. And Tri-Disaster being changed to Tri-Bind. New PvP actions. Come on. Oh, it's for Dark Knight Machinist Astrologian, although pushback is an ability for the job. Okay, good, because I don't want to deal with any more abilities on the other jobs that I play in PvP. Also, certain actions have been adjusted for PvP, Fleet of Foot, Glory Slash, Greased Lightning. Oh yeah, these are just PvP changes, alright, and Wither. Okay, not a real big deal. We know that every new job is getting a new limit break. These are the actual names. Well, not every new job. Some of the jobs are keeping the old ones, like Paladin still has Last Bastion, Monk still has Final Heaven, Black Mage still has Meteor, and White Mage still has Pulse of Life. The difference is, if you haven't seen the launch trailer, the difference are like Land Waker, Dark Force, Dragon Song Dive, Kimatsuri, whatever, Chimatsuri, I don't know, whatever. Sagittarius Arrow, Satellite Beam, Terra Flare, Pulse of Life. Wait, that's not Terra Flare, that's bullshit. That's Mega Flare or Giga Flare at best. Alright, they want to call it Terra Flare, they call it Terra Flare. Angel Feathers and Astral Stasis. Okay. The effect of Adrenaline Rush in PvP has been changed for ranged physical DPS. Oh, don't tell me it got nerfed. It probably got nerfed, right? It probably got nerfed. Player attributes have been adjusted. Skill speed and spell speed now affect damage over time and heal over time effects. Great. The effect of Determination on auto attacks has been reduced. That's going to knock it down a few pegs. Critical hit rate now affects damage dealt. Uh-oh. Alright. So that's going to change things quite a bit, because it's going to make your actual... Wait, that means that, like, Dragoon having... Oh, that means, like, Ninja and Dragoon, they have guaranteed crits. That means crit's going to be a way better... Oh, my goodness. I can't wait to see my Raiton crits after the expansions. Too bad my Trick Attack... Well, my Trick Attack crits will still be up, too. And, oh, my God, Full Thrust crits. Holy moly. Oh, man. Oh my god, a Loquium! Oh my god, that's gonna be great. And certain attributes no longer affect parry or block? Do they mean strength and dex? Is that their way of making parry and block better? Or mandatory? It's a pretty shitty way of doing it, to be honest. They should have just made parry or block better, not forced us into it by making sure that that strength and dex no longer rewarded those stats. I wonder if that's the change. Ugh. Pets will now have base accuracy of pets has been raised. Thank God, summoners don't have different accuracy caps than black mages now. All pet attacks will now be treated as if attacking from the rear. So summoners, you don't need as much accuracy as before. Pets will now receive attribute bonuses of food items. Great. In order to receive the effect of caster's spell speed attribute, all pet actions, excluding auto attacks, have been changed to elemental damage. So wait a minute. That means Ifrit's abilities are no longer benefited from Dragon Kick and Storm's Eye anymore. That means they are strictly magic damage, so they're effective for things like foes. Other than Ifrit's auto attacks, those will still be physical. Actually, yeah, I can't say that. His physical attacks are different, but I mean, his abilities will benefit more from things from just foes or reduction, an increase in magic damage taken. That's interesting. I mean, all of that altogether is really interesting. They're good changes. That'll affect you regardless of whether or not you buy the expansion. Armory bonus when below level 50 has been increased to 100%. We were wondering if they were going to make the leveling process easier pre-level 50. So you Dark Knights, Astrologians, and Machinists out there that already have all your 50s, you just got a 50% buff to your EXP gain. So enjoy. Well, to your Armory bonus, you know, that's not everything, but it's a pretty big change. The new dungeons have been added. We've already seen videos for these before. New trials, Ravana and Bismarck. We know that. They're buffing the strength of the Echo and Final Coil again. Jesus. Gear for Dark Knight Machinists and Astrologian have been added to previously existing raids, trials, dungeons, all that stuff. In accordance with the increase in level cap, the distribution of experience points in the following dungeons have been adjusted. Sunken Temple of Karn, Cutter's Cry, Stone Vigil, Zamiel, Darkhold, Ornvale. Increased from bosses, while that received from all... Oh, you son of a bitch. They just destroyed first room Darkhold runs. Bosses now, so that's really an adjustment. So now if to get the most experience points out of a dungeon, you have to do the whole thing. This does not affect the overall experience gain. It is the same, but DD first room runs, AV first room runs, out. That sucks. I get it. Like I get that they want people to complete the whole dungeon, but that sucks. Whatever. It's what's done is done, you know. Mechanics of certain dungeons have been adjusted. Okay, I would like to know more about that. In the event your character is incapacitated when exiting an instance, your character will now be revived before leaving. Thankfully, players can now join instance duty in the following circumstances: while watching a cutscene, thank God; while playing a minigame in the Gold Saucer, thank God; while challenging a player. Gaming, you're watching me live stream this right now, that's for you. While challenging a player to or NPC to triple triad match, that's for you, because you almost cost me so many Qs. You cost me one, but that's a message specifically for you. They'll just be canceled upon joining a duty immediately. And also, all the rewards are going to be forfeited from any of those things if you interrupt them. The entry requirements for the trials and raids have been adjusted. Castor Meridianum requires an average item level of 42. Oh! Those required? Oh, yeah, I guess. Alright, lower average item level to enter some of the level 50 stuff. Cool. Level sync will now reduce the parameters of gear based on the values of high quality gear rather than normal quality. Okay, so level synced gear is now better. It's now really good when you level sync down with gear on. It's not shitty gear, it's high quality gear. That's good. Tomestones of Law have been added. Oh, would you look at that? See? Wait a minute. That's... Oh, okay, so they're keeping soldiery in the game for now. You just can't get it anymore, it seems. Like, you know how they do the whole thing where you can convert soldiery to poetics? Seems like you'll be able to do that, and then it'll just remain there at 0 out of 2,000. I like how there's a different color for Elegant Tomestones of Law. They can only be received after reaching level 60 with at least one class or job, and there's no weekly limitations. The Esoterics could be coming in 4 weeks. The weekly limitation for Poetics has been removed. We knew that. Soldiery no longer obtainable. NPC Oriana will now give players the option to exchange Soldiery for Poetics. Yeah, I just explained all that. Categories of the Duty Finder have been adjusted. Oh my goodness. Dungeons tab has been divided into... I knew they were going to do this. Dungeons of Realm Reborn and Dungeons Heavensward. The Trials tab has been divided into Trials of Realm Reborn, Trials Heavensward. Yeah, I knew they were going to do that. Okay, that's not a very clean way of doing it, but I knew that they were going to do that. I had a feeling. Everyone's like, no, they're not going to do that. I was like, yeah, they're probably going to do that, knowing them. Trials and Dungeons introduced with patch 3.0 have been added to the Duty Finder. Duties for level 51 through 59 have been added. Requirements to unlock Duty Roulette Trials has been changed. Players can now participate in the roulette after unlocking any 2 trials. Thank God. That sucked. If you were someone who didn't do the Hildebrand storyline, you couldn't do the trial roulette because you needed it done to unlock the trial roulette. That's a way better way of doing it. I don't know why it wasn't like that in the first place. The following duties, trials, and raids have been added to the Duty Finder. Expert Roulette, 2 dungeons in the Expert Roulette. That's the key thing to note about this. That probably means a new dungeon at 52, 54, 56, 58, 2 level 60 main story, probably like 8-man dungeons like Castrum and Praetorium, and then 2 expert dungeons. That's my guess for the way it's going to work out. Now, the high-level roulette had the old expert added into it. The trial roulette has 2 new trials. I'm assuming... Oh, though, you know what those are? Those are probably Bismarck and Ravana normal. Or whatever they decide to end up calling it. Hard, normal, I don't care. Story, Ravana, and Bismarck. Probably. Players will now be rewarded experience points upon completing main scenario, trials, and high level prior to level 60. Great, so we now have the low level roulette, the high level roulette, the trial roulette, and the main scenario roulette all to level to 60. As long as you're... Oh yeah, well, that's good. However, players who do not use the duty roulette to join level 50 duties associated with the above roulettes will not receive experience points. So, alright. But, I mean, that's going to help. More experience points. I'm always down for that. PvP experience points and wolf marks have been added to the duty roulette front lines. I don't know why that wasn't there in the first place. Number of company seals granted by the duty roulette's low-level adventure and need bonus has been increased. The type of elegant tombstones received from duty roulette has been adjusted. Okay, holy moly. 35 poetics to 80 law, 100 soldiery and 15 poetics to 100 poetics and 100 law. What the? That's a lot of law. That's a lot of law. Oh, you know why? I get it. This is only available at 60, so that's 80 law. All right, understandable, because it's the equivalent of soldiery and philosophy and, you know, all that stuff. This is because the high-level roulette is available. In case you don't have the expansion, it's got the poetics, and if you do have the expansion, it also has law. Because if you're level 60, you know, this is pre-60, it'll have this reward, I'm assuming. Low level, 100 elegant tombstones of law. Trial, 60 law, 120 poetics from the main story, and 50 poetics from front lines. Nope, still don't want law. Probably not until the new PvP comes out, but whatever. Oh, wait a minute. Is there no level 60 front lines? I just realized they need to have a level 60 slaughter and secure for Cartno Flats. Is that not going to come till later? That's going to be pretty lame. First completion bonus has been adjusted. The amount of guilds received has been increased. The type of elegant tombstone received has been changed to poetics, not law. Players will now receive a first-time completion bonus for all the ones that we didn't have it on before. Okay. Duty Finder settings have been added to the Duty Finder. Okay, that's, yeah, pretty convenient. Oh, okay, here we go. This is how you're going to be able to turn on the undersized party or minimum item level challenges and the loot rules challenges. So, undersized party. Participate in duties without meeting the minimum party requirements. Level sync and item level sync are disabled and role requirements are ignored. Defeating enemies will yield no EXP or items. Only certain duties allow undersized parties. That's pretty lame. I wonder what it's limited to. And only the party leader may select the setting. And then you can also item level sync all your gear to the duty's minimum selection if you want a challenge. Can only be selected in a duty with the party size requirement, so they can't be grouped together, it seems. Only the party leader, and when using an undersized party, players... Oh, so you can use an undersized party and the minimum item level. It's just... Good luck. Yeah, okay. Undersized party option has been added. We just explained that. And also the minimum item level has been added. We just explained all that. We don't need to explain it again. Loot rules can be set. Okay, so it actually states the loot rule right here. So we have the loot master rule. We have the normal need, greed, and pass system, which is currently in the game. We have greed only, so you can only greed on items, or I'm assuming pass them. And loot master, the party leader determines individual loot distribution. That's really going to be for organized groups. In the party finder, you might want to be careful if somebody's the loot master, because you never know when bad things are going to happen. Alright, and that's the way it's going to look. Loot rule, loot master, that's a really small menu. Like, these items are really small on this menu. I wonder if that's because we're going to get so much more loot in-game. Probably not. Designating the recipients, we don't need to explain that. Lot window has been adjusted. So it's got even more information on it, just to let... Oh, we didn't need that. We didn't need that. Players can now select item comparison, try on, and link when viewing the items in the lot window. Thank Lord they're finally doing that. When lotting on multiple items, they will no longer disappear from the lot window until all items have been distributed. Gamepad controls when using the lot window have been adjusted. Players can no longer lot on untradeable mounts or minions they've already acquired. So you can't accidentally win I was almost at two Sleipnirs. You would have to buy two. You can no longer win like 2 ponies by accident or win need on a minion that you already have or something like that. So that's not going to be possible anymore. The result window for the end of a Frontlines match has been changed. Yay! Alright, so it's going to give... it actually explains how you won the game. That's actually pretty good. That's information that I think is actually pretty useful. I don't know why my nose itches all of a sudden here. It's just the very tip of my nose. Usually happens when I'm nervous, but... I don't know, I'm not nervous right now, so it's kind of strange. New enemies have been added. The T-Rex. Is that a... Is that a Guado? I don't know. These are, of course, not all the new enemies, just letting you know. Behavior of monsters attack from locations they cannot reach has been adjusted. Interesting. New elite marks. That's right, hunt marks. You heard it here. There are new elite marks. Yay! Players can now hunt regular and elite marks in new areas. Elite marks defeated in new areas surrounding Ishgard will yield Centurio seals. I knew they weren't going to use allied seals, which can be exchanged for various items and gear. These new elite marks will also reward experience points. So you can now use the hunt to level up even more. So they're like fates with more rewards, pretty much. Before taking up the hunt in the new areas, players must first complete a special quest, which also requires the completion of Let the Hunt Begin. To facilitate leveling in these areas, players will have the option to choose between 3 types of mark builds: level 1 clan, level 2 clan, and level 3 clan. Level 2 and 3 mark builds can only be accepted after completing the aforementioned special quest. Okay, nice. Oh, wow, it only goes up to 500? Wow. And then you can buy various gear with it, and it's going to be there in the foundation. Zodiac weapons have been adjusted. Let's see what the relic nerfs were, everyone. The items required to create and upgrade Zodiac weapons must now be purchased using Elegant Tomestones of Poetics instead of Elegant Tomestones of Soldiery. The drop rate for Atma has been increased. Okay. The number of enemies required to defeat the Trials of the Braves has been reduced. The drop rate for Alexandrites have been increased. The number of Alexandrite received from the quest Morbid Motivation has been increased. So you're still going to need 75 materia. That sucks. The rate at which weapons gain soul attunement and soul resonance has been increased, and the drop rate for dungeon items and the Zodiac weapon have been increased. I pretty much saw all those coming. I did expect not just an increase in Alexandrite drops, but like less materia to be needed. That was a doable thing, to be honest. Guess it just wasn't their approach to it. Players can now cast teleport and return while riding on a mount. Number 1 feature. Greatest feature. We don't even need an expansion. Can we just get that feature real quick? Good. Targeting will now be displayed when targeting a striking dummy. Thank God. That was also really annoying. It was a really small thing, but it annoyed me. Then they explained Alexander will be coming in 2 weeks, Savage will be coming in 4 weeks, and new rules for front lines are also 4 weeks. Stuff we already knew. Holy shit, what are those claws? Holy moly, look at these weapons. Holy moly, look. Alright, holy moly. That's all I gotta say. That's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. What the hell? Alright. Due to the volume of items, they will not be listed in the patch notes. Thank the Lord. New recipes have been added. Oh, I remember them showing these off in the in one of the blogs. I remember that. Also, due to the volume of recipes, they will not be listed here. New master recipe books have been added. New recipes have been added to the previously existing master recipe books. Great. Great. A reason to still go back and get the old... I mean, not like it's going to be hard at 60, but the fact that they're adding more items to these kind of surprises me. High quality items can now be converted into normal quality? Interesting. Alright. That's... I get it. It has some uses. Just not something I expected. Dark Knight Machinist and Astrologian have been added to gear. Players can now convert gear into grade 5 materia, but they will not be available at the patch of 3.0 at a later date, an unspecified later date. So those of you who saved tier 4 materia, you're going to be rolling in dough because they're still going to be useful. Grade 6 Dark Matter. Holy moly. More repair stuff. Players can now purchase a replica Zodiac weapon from Drake. So that's if you want to, like, glamour a specific step of the Zodiac quest if you already have it completed. Like, let's say you like the Nexus the best and you want to glamour that on. You'll be able to just go out and buy it from this. You just need to get the... You need to complete the quest, the Vital Title. You know, that Z title quest right at the end. And the attributes, to make sure you don't use them to actually fight, they are strictly for glamour purposes. Much lower than the original weapons in terms of stats. The sale price of certain items have been adjusted. Weapons have been added to the inventories of traders. Gear has been added to the traders for the new jobs. There's new gear for the Wolves Den for the new jobs. Again, cool stuff. We knew this. Following items are now available. These are weathered items, again, or upgraded like Leviathan or Shiva items for the old jobs. Cool. Hey, look, Balmung. You have your own weapon now in the game. Yay. Yeah, they're just content for the old items in case you... I'm assuming that Balmung, Peacemaker, and wait, no, this is Oriana, right? Oh, this is Aelina. Yeah, it's just going to be a variety of weapons. These are probably the soldiery weapons. These are soldiery gears and ironworks gear and all that stuff. You know what I'm going with this. New items have been added to the inventory of the Calamity Salvagers. The following items can no longer be exchanged for rewards. They've been warning about us for this some time now. These are all 1.0 items still, so if you haven't traded in your old 1.0 items and you're holding on to them forever, you may want to get rid of them now. Following items can now be stored in the armoire. All the stuff that we wanted to store before, including the collector's edition items. I noticed right here, Baron Helm, Baron Circlet, Baron Earrings. Thank the Lord we can store more stuff in the armoire. I can't wait for it to still be behind all the new stuff we're going to get. Best gown ever can now be dyed. Awesome. Gear from the following trials can now be desynthesized. Great. Gonna need that for leveling. The maximum level for desynthesis has gone up to 180 and the collective cap up to 160. I mean, 560. Yeah, 160, imagine. The maximum cumulative cap is lower than the actual cap of a single class, so good luck. No, kidding. It's 560. Corresponding item levels for glamour prisms have been adjusted. Okay. Interesting. Didn't see that one coming. Level cap, I just thought they were going to do a new glamour prism for level 51 to 60, and just completely forego the need for item level. Level cap for Disciples of Hand and Lands may increase to 60. They have new actions. Oh, goodness. Bayergot's Brow. What is this? What does that little star mean? Scroll down. I want to see what the specialist actions. Okay, so those are the specialist actions. So you pretty much get just a new... Everyone gets this new level 50 action, then everybody gets Bayergot's Brow, everybody gets Precise Touch, and then everybody get Name of Wind, Name of Fire, Name of Ice. Those are... Yeah, these are all just basically... So, level 54 and I guess 60 are the only levels you get cross-class. That's assuming specialist actions are cross-class. I'm assuming they are. But other than that, it's just level 54. Otherwise, they get the exact same things at 50, 51, and 53. Not bad. That is actually something that already happens with the old crafting classes. I just didn't expect it. It caught me off guard. Following actions are shared. Okay, so, yeah. If you're a specialist, as soon as you unlock the specialist, you'll get these abilities. And I'm assuming that this is... Now I'm convinced. The specialist here is literally designed to completely destroy the need to have all your crafting classes at 60 or all of them even at 50. I'm assuming all of these things are going to fill in for all of the... you know what I'm trying to say. Actually, you know what? Heart of the Culinarian, now that I look back at these will probably not be cross-class abilities at all, now that I actually read the names for them. So I'm just imagining that just these are your specialist actions. They are there to make it so you don't need to have everything at 50 in order to be a good crafter. May actually make me care about my gathering and crafting classes. Well, specialist crafting classes, you know what I mean. New actions and traits have been added for Disciples of Land. That is quite a lot of them. We don't know what any of them do, so whatever. Luck of the Mountaineer probably has something to do with regional folklore or something like that. We don't know what they do, so it's like it's hard for me to care. Enhanced Stealth and Stone Whisper and Namia's Ward, you know, fantastic. Whatever. Like, none of this stuff really matters to me. Although, Hell Fishing and Ether Fishing, Cloud Fishing we knew we were probably going to get. What the hell is Hell Fishing? Alright, Ether Fishing made more sense than Hell Fishing to me, but I'll take it. CP cost of the following actions has been reduced. Alright, that's good. Disciples of Hand and Land can now exchange blue crafter scripts and blue gatherer scripts for items and gear. No weekly limitation on blue ones. The red ones have to get... I thought it was the other way around. Oh well. Blue is the uncapped one and red is the capped one. But we won't get the red ones for quite some time, it seems. I know, 4 weeks into the expansion. Splendor's Exchange has been added to Disciples. Oh, Rowena's House of... Oh, so now there's a little symbol if she wants you to hand in an item. Collectability 852. You're going to explain what collectability actually does? You'll lock this at level 50 in the foundation. Alright, so... Come on, explain. What does the collectible rating do? That's all I really want to know. To gather collectible items, players must use Collector's Glove command. While under the effect of this command, players can gather items as collectibles. After gathering a collectible item, players can use the general action Ethereal Reduction to possibly receive items of an even greater rarity. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay, so, alright. That's, alright. Alright, new crafting systems, I'm down. Preserve the following item with a collectability of 116. So I'm just saying, just collectability is just... Scripts are rewarded based on the collectability of the item exchange. I probably should have read that first. Oh, Mr. Happy. Should have read it, it said it right there. Yeah. Well, I went back, made sure to proofread. However, items considered to be collectible can only be obtained through crafting or gathering. Okay, fair enough. New system. Oh, and when you become a specialist, you get a soul crystal. Oh, that's cute. That's pretty cool, actually. And that gives you the specialization abilities. All right, players will be unable to obtain additional souls of the crafter until a future update. All right. Oh, so that means we'll maybe get more than 3 specialists at some point? Maybe they're just limiting specialist tier for now? Interesting. Quality bar will no longer display when crafting items that cannot be made high quality. Good, because that was annoying. Graphics shown when using following primary tools have been adjusted. All right, so they make a little bit more sense. New gathering points, new fishing holes. Fishers must now use the action snagging before... Okay, so you can control when you get a time-worn map. Okay, that's pretty good. Ephemeral... I hate this word so much. I can never say it right. This is one of those words that no matter how many times you say it, you won't get it right. New gathering points have been added. Unlike unspoiled gathering points, these points will only appear at certain times of day, even if they are in your gathering log. However, so long as they are active, they will not dissipate until they have been depleted. Okay, so there's not like a limited time frame. You just go and get them, and they just won't... Alright, okay, that definitely makes more sense. Tomes of regional folklore. Players can now exchange blue gatherer scripts for one of 9 tomes. And these are where they're used for. Corthus, they're just one for each of the new areas. So I guess that's how you have to unlock some of the new points, is strictly through that, and then you can actually read the book to care about the lore. Alright. Using a tome of regional folklore will allow you to discover previously hidden gathering. Bear in mind that these gathering points are only available... Okay, so this is just pretty much how you unlock these gathering points, right? That's how I'm understanding it. The requirements to gather level 50, 1, 2, and 3-star items have been reduced. New minions. Those are great minions. That's an Atamos minion. That's a unicorn. Is that... What the oh, okay. And then a griffin. Alright. New mounts. Wow, really? New ground mounts, too? Alright. I was wondering if they were going to do that. That's the black chocobo. I'm assuming that's the one that can fly. I can't wait to find out this coral can fly. Probably not. Following the implementation of flying mounts, the display of certain chocobo bardings have been adjusted. Okay, to make sure that their wings actually... Okay. That's good, because I was worried about the clipping there with the flying, because that was going to look hideous. Disciple of Hand Favors system is scheduled to be implemented 4 weeks after... Damn. They got some of these features really waiting for the 4-week mark. The 4-week mark is probably going to be better than the expansion itself at this rate. A market board has been placed in Ishgard. Great. Market board has been adjusted. All the new items in the thing, airship components and the new jobs. Can search for equipment up to 60. We knew that. Dispatch their retainers to Ishgard. Okay, great. Level cap for retainers has been increased to 60. Great. Our rods can now be retainers. Great. Can now hire up to 8 retainers. I don't like the red text under this. Players are normally limited to 2 retainers per character. To hire additional retainers, please use the optional retainer service. Listen, I don't swear too much in videos, but bitch, you couldn't have given us at least one more free one. Rise it up to 8. Tell us we gotta buy 6 of them. Crazy. I'm not even gonna say anything. Anyway, items listed for sale in your retainer will now be sorted automatically by category. New retainer ventures have been added. The gathering rating required by Woodland, Wirelands, Highland. Yeah, these are just all changes to the retainers. Honestly, I'm not that big on it. It's just updating it for the level and nerfing the old ones. You know, stuff that's kind of expected of everything in the expansion. Icon for certain achievements have been adjusted. New achievements and titles have been added. Extreme primal battles added in... Oh. That answers the question. The hard modes of Ravana and Bismarck are going to be the story modes, and extreme primal battles in 3.0 will now count towards the mounts, the tank mounts. We are getting extreme primal. So it will be hard into extreme as opposed to story into hard into extreme. Good, because in Japan, the naming conventions are a lot better. It is easy, normal, hard, not normal, hard, extreme. So this is going to standardize that a little bit more, although that's still kind of strange. I hope they just call them normal and not hard modes anymore. So then we have actions and traits window has been adjusted to have all the new actions under the job category and the specialist category for Disciples of Hand. Fantastic. Obtaining signature will now display with an item signature is unable to read. Okay. Character window has been adjusted as follows. Okay, it's got specialist tier, lets you know it's got room for the I don't know why that's funny to me. Extra jobs. These are just more jobs. We couldn't call them Disciples of War or Magic. No. These are extra. All right. Currency tab has been removed and has been added as a new character menu on its own, so it's no longer up here. It's its own thing over here. Common lists guild, company seals, and MGP. Okay, then it has battle for this stuff and other. Okay, and then there's more room for the job crystals. Additional gear sets will be unlocked when we unlock the new jobs to make up for the fact we have 3 new jobs. Visor command can now be saved when creating gear sets. Thank goodness. They mentioned that on the official forums not too long ago. Recipes registered to the Hotbar will now open the crafting log. Good. Another good quality of life change. The gathering log has been adjusted. Regional folklore and items from the new gathering points have been added. At this point, it's just they're adding stuff. Oh, what's this? Wait, location effect for gathering nodes will now be displayed at the bottom of the harvesting window. Great. HQ chain will now be displayed when gathering high quality items consecutively. Nice. I'm hoping that means they're worth more EXP and that's not just going to be displayed, because I want that. I want more EXP for my gathering and, well, my gathering. Yeah. Now we need a crafting chain. Like if you craft HQ items in a row, that would be fantastic. A tab for Ishgard and its surrounding areas has been added to the teleport window. Party finder. I have to do it, right? Well, according to Shia LaBeouf, I absolutely have to do it. Instead, well, this is let's do it. All right. Let's do it! Alright, there we go. That had to happen, because I wish it had said just do it. Because then it looks different, okay? Recruiter names will now appear as initials, name of the duty. Recruiter will be displayed. The new jobs can be selected, and recruiters can now set multiple roles to a single party member slot. Good, good, good. Example, looking for a paladin or black mage. Good. That means, oh wow, that's pretty useful. I gotta admit, that is a pretty useful feature. Because you know how people say, oh, you know, I can go healer. You know, I'm on a tank right now, but I can always go healer if we find somebody that's this. So either find this or this. So, yeah, all right, that's actually a pretty good feature. Duties introduced in 3.0 are not able to be selected as objectives. Why not? So wait, you're telling me I can't use the party finder for Bismarck Extreme? I mean, it's not going to stop people from doing it. What? What? I'm stupefied as to how that is not in there. That is... Alright, whatever. Just, they even say, we ask that you please use the comment section. Maybe they couldn't think of a way to fit it into the list there. They didn't have a good system for incorp. I don't know. Whatever, just use the comment section if you want to do Bismarck or Ravana Extreme. Whatever. Search conditions for player searches have been adjusted. They have the new jobs. They have the new areas. You know, nothing too fancy here. Layout of the search. Are we almost? Oh my god, we're still like kind of far away. Layout of the search window info has been adjusted to accommodate for the addition of the new jobs. The arrangement of emotes and the emotes window has been adjusted. Players can now access active help dialogue. At this point, we're getting down to the fluff pretty much. Active help interface has been adjusted. Left clicking the guild icon will now display the currency window on Windows, Mac, and PlayStation 4. Right-clicking it will switch between which it displays. Okay. Experience bar has been adjusted to make it more noticeable when you cannot gain experience points. Okay. Recommendations window will no longer show duties you do not meet the requirements for. Players can now select item comparisons when selecting quest rewards. I mean, we got that from before. We could select it from the loot list, so we expected to be able to do this as well. When exchanging items with an NPC, items that cannot be traded will appear grayed out. Good. Your online status will no longer automatically change to away from keyboard when using auto run or follow. Good. Wait. Yeah, okay, that's good. The invite to Alliance subcommand, your status will change if the character you're following is inactive. Yeah, no crap. The invite to Alliance subcommand will now only appear when the party leader... Yeah, I was wondering why you were able to do that without an 8-person party selects the leader. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense. The focus target subcommand is now available when targeting field objects. Good. A message will be displayed on screen in addition to the log window. You can now summon the wayward hatchling in... Oh god, that's kind of annoying actually. To avoid incorrect operation of chocobo porters and mounts used in certain duties, the method for dismounting these mounts has been changed. There is a dismount button available. There's now an icon in the mount guide for mounts that are specifically flying mounts. Target rings will now always appear around your feet. The line indication has been adjusted so it's more visible. Ether currents have been added under travel. The following options have been added to the character configuration. Activate standard flying types. So these are just making sure that the flying options are there for all of the different, you know, all the new flying options are there now. Flying mount, takeoff. Display altitude error messages. I'm assuming that means if you hit the ceiling and whatnot, or like the wall. The following options have been added to the system configurations. Character lighting. They said that this was specifically for like taking screenshots and whatnot. So that's a good thing to have for those of you out there that like taking beautiful screenshots. DirectX 11. You can now change to the graphic settings for DirectX 11. Great. The following categories have been added to the keybind interface. Flight, currency, ether currents, great. New macros, currency, ether current, and play time. I'm afraid to type in that command, and I think you guys know why. The following expressions have been added to the auto-translate dictionary. Oh god, we gotta read these. I must now take my leave. Let's have some fun. I'll do my best. Do you have enough MP? Is there anything you don't understand? Did you see it? How should we handle this? I'm checking things out. I'm inexperienced. Switch. Change with me. I'll deal the first blow. Let's take it slow. Do it! I had to do it again. Like, literally do it again. Certain additions to the auto-translate dictionary have been omitted to prevent spoilers. So there's more than that, actually. Probably things like the names of the duties and whatnot. To reduce server congestion, players who are inactive for 30 minutes, they are bringing back auto-log off. Son of a mother. Somebody asked me if I thought they were going to do that. I didn't think they would. They are indeed going to automatically log you off if you go AFK for 30 minutes. So be careful. Players can no longer send friend requests when playing with a free trial account. Players can still receive friend requests when playing a free trial account. That's for the RMT friend requests. So, GG, you now won't have to deal with those anymore. Unless, now, what's going to be even funnier is that the RMT start paying for the game to do that. Because that's going to be funny. Due to adjustments to the graphics engine, the appearance of 2.0 areas at night has changed. Emotes where female characters other than Lalafel's crouch have been adjusted. New music has been added, the new title screen and logo. And the following categories: expansion auto installation, DirectX 11 support. And those are the Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward preliminary patch notes. I don't even know how long this took. What time is it? Holy shit, it's almost 11 o'clock. It's like 10:50 right now, PM. And I don't know what everyone's been saying in the chat because I've actually not looked at the Twitch chat once. I have it minimized right now. It'd be funny if the stream went offline quite some time ago. Anyway, guys, I don't even know where to start. Let me know what you think in the comment section of the video below. I mean, those of you watching this on Twitch right now are like, what comment section? You guys know I'm doing this for YouTube right now, so don't give me that. Come on, don't give me that. You know better. You know better. But at this point, by the time you guys see this video, 2 days. 2 fucking days until we are in the expansion and we get to experience all the sweet stuff, and 4 weeks till we actually get to play most of it. Anyway, I will see you guys in the next video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care.